Hello and welcome to episode 18 of Garmin to smashing a PB at the London Marathon 2025 question mark. This is the weekly roundup where I just go through all my activities that I have been kind of following from my Garmin watch. I have plugged in the actual London Marathon event with an ambitious personal best time in there, and basically the Garmin gives me the training plan. It changes day by day or whatever, but the end goal is to get me to this PB and that I punched in. It is very ambitious, and it's going to be a tough ride. But the watch takes into account your sleeping patterns, your heart rates throughout the day, and your stress levels and things like that. So the watch does change a lot, or for me, it changes a lot in all the time. So there has been some frustrations if you've seen the other episodes, and it still will be frustrations, I can tell you that. But so far, the watch has also given me, with this training plan, a PB in my 5K, a PB in my 10K, and we look to progress on all of that lot. And even with the 5K, it was done in a training block where I had to maintain a pace for X amount of time. So I held back a bit because you've got to make sure you can carry on for that time. So hopefully the PB on the 5 can be beaten now again. If I did that run again and really raced for it. The 10K PB was also done in a block where I had walking recovery in. So intense running in a threshold run for an interval of a period of time, and then a walk and then run again, and that gave me a 10K PB. I really didn't expect that, but this is how the plan of Garmin is doing it. So it does cover in a marathon plan, your tempo runs, your threshold runs, your sprint work in anaerobic sessions. It does your long run, slow pacey kind of base run, and then your shortened runs and things like that. So there is a whole range of runs in these workouts, as a training plan should have, and so the ultimate goal is to smash this PB that I have in London Marathon 2025. So far my PB is 4 hours 42. I'm not going to disclose the time I'm looking for at the moment. We'll get that closer to the marathon, but it will be mentioned at that point. I had to thank Seeability, the fantastic charity there that has given me the place for the London Marathon, and as I say every week, I'm constantly asking for donations. The link is down below. The money doesn't go to me. Nothing in all that money that you donate goes, nothing goes to me. It's all going to the charity. I will fund my own flights. I will fund my own accommodation whilst in London, as I live in Bergen, Norway. So just want to put it out there. All the money on my Just Giving page goes to the charity. Nothing is for me, and I just want to raise as much money as I can for this fantastic charity that has again given me a chance to run the London Marathon, as they let me do it this year in 2024, and I lived a childhood dream. It was just an amazing experience running it this year, and I look forward to doing it again next year, and really kind of documenting my journey to doing that, and hopefully really smashing this PB. All my marathons before, I've just been a plod, and I just plod it, and the challenge is always just to get done. And the distance is a challenge, and that's why I love a marathon. It's not an easy distance. And every single distance has their own challenges, don't get me wrong. When you're running a 5K, you run as fast as you can and just try and hold on for as long as you can to get to that 5K. Where a marathon, you just you just have to keep going, and so every distance has their challenges, and I understand that. But even on a 5K run, you will run further than a 5K run to get better at doing a 5K run. When you do a marathon, you don't train over a marathon. You don't even really train up to the marathon. You go through say 20 miles and that, or 32 kilometers, and that's your general kind of long run before you do the marathon. So you never actually get that marathon distance in a training bit, but you're doing 3 to 5, 6 workouts a week. Hitting 50 plus, 60 plus, 70 plus kilometers, or even 30 miles in a week, and all of that lot. So basically what you do is you're running on kind of fatigued legs and all that lot near the end, and then you kind of 2 to 3 weeks out of the marathon, you slow it down a little. And that to let your legs recover and your body to recover after you give it such an intense hammering, to be honest, on the training plans, and so you can be as fresh as you can on a day, and then that should take you over the distance that you haven't done in one go. But the build up of all these runs does it, and that's the theory of it. I'm not an actual coach. I don't know all the logistics and all that lot. I just do what I know and what I've learned along the way, and then if I can pass some of that on to the viewers, then fantastic. And that I just doing my own way, and just kind of using a watch to get me through this one. I've used other apps before, but when I got this watch, it's fantastic. I love it. It's the Garmin Forerunner 965, but I kind of wanted to use it a little bit more than just pressing start and stop and that. So now I took on the training plan just to give me a little bit more something from the watch, really, just to kind of put it to its uses. And so this week started off on the Monday. It was a base run of 51 minutes at 140 beats per minute, and but it had changed from a 1 hour 17 minute tempo run, which was frustrating. We'll get onto all of that lot a bit more as well, and but basically what I decided to do was just run home from work. I work in the city centre in Norway, in Bergen, and basically ran home. But it's a hilly way back. Bergen is obviously it's a port town or port city, and that, so it's sea level. So where I live is up. So it is a hilly way back. There is some downhills, don't get me wrong, but it's generally an uphill run home. So I don't overcook it so early on in the week. I did stop at the 51 minute mark, and that kind of got me in a nice convenient place to catch a bus home. There's a shopping centre just down the road from where I live. I can run it in 25 minutes, but what's the point of overdoing your training plan? It's supposed to keep me structured. So I caught the bus home, and from there, so I covered 8.13 kilometres. The average pace was 6 minutes 17 kilometres, or 6:17 minutes per kilometre, and an average heart rate of 141. So it was quite nice to kind of have a lower average in a longer run and all that lot. I know I've been doing some very slow work as well the last couple of weeks with running with some friends and that, but I wanted to, on this run, keep closer to the average, because we know that it generally goes a little bit higher than what it should be. And but the Tuesday was a normal rest. As I say, I take every Tuesday off now, and that, no running, no strength and conditioning, nothing. It's my recharge day, although I have to work, and but it put me into a nice run on Wednesday, which was a tempo run. So although I didn't do the tempo on the Monday, it kind of backs it up a little bit, one day or whatever. So I did the tempo run on a Wednesday, and that was 4 times 8 minutes at 157 beats per minute. So it's still it's a bit, it's lower than my lactate threshold pace, and that. But what surprised me was it got me all the way home. And that, so that was me thinking that I would probably stay, or finish a bit like the Monday run and get to a convenient place to finish. Because I had to take into account between every 8 minutes, I walk for at least 1 minute just to get the heart rate back down to the range it's supposed to be in the recovery, and then get ready to go again. And that, so it slows you right down, obviously, because you're walking and that. So I managed to kind of just keep going all the way home. Obviously I'm following what my watch says, and it tells me when to start the interval and when to finish the interval, blah blah blah. So I was just following that, and the first 2 intervals were great. I was hitting 5 minute 18 and 5 minute 16 pace on both of those 8 minute intervals. And that kind of section is more going uphill, and that on a slow, constant uphill grade, and that. But so I was happy to have them quite close together in that period, and that when you're doing interval training, you try to get all the intervals as close to each other, as they are, so then you know that you're not overcooking one and then being absolutely useless on the next one, and then trying to keep it straight like that. So. Really pleased with them too. But then there is a downhill section as I'm running in again. It goes back upwards a bit later on, but yeah. So on that section, I actually hit 5:09. So 5 minutes and 9 seconds per kilometer, which is great. It's a great run. In the averages and all of that, it will help out anyway. But after that third one, then I really felt, I felt the ice and that underfoot, and as I was running, and I could feel my feet slipping, and I was obviously in a section where there was no sun all day, and that to help any melting and all this lot of the ground ice, and so basically I had to slow right down, and even when I kind of really got into the section, I just. I remember starting the actual kind of interval slow because I just didn't want to fall over, obviously. And so that last one was 5 minutes 38 per kilometer, which, don't get me wrong, that's still quite good. And where my normal base rates is, 6:15 maybe, or higher. So to hit an interval still on 5:38 in the ice was quite good. But the thing about that run is I knew that there was something waiting at my front door. And that is the actual box behind me. I don't know if you can actually see it, but I did get a treadmill. And I've got a home treadmill now. It's not standing up like that. It's set up and now just in a corner. But I knew that was waiting for me to get home. And it's needed. These are the runs I need that for, to a point. It's all great training, but we got to stay safe. And last thing I want to do is kind of do an interval session or whatever in slippery conditions and fall over, and then kind of damage my ankles or whatever. So then I can't do a run. And or stops me from training and all that lot. So I have invested in a treadmill. We will go on a bit further with that shortly. But yeah, it was nice to come home, and then I had to drag that in. They're heavy on your own, and that. But I didn't set it up either. So it stayed there for the evening, and not just on the floor there. Life's life. We just got to keep going, yeah. But it was a great run on Wednesday. I really did enjoy that, and it also emphasised why I've decided to get this treadmill. Thank you Black Friday deals. That's and an early Christmas present and that. So that's 2 thank yous on that one, basically. So yeah, that was the Wednesday one. Really enjoyed that one. And then we went on to Thursday, and again, it dropped. It was supposed to be a longer run, 1 hour 18 minutes, and I kind of was looking forward to that. Again, would have run home from work, but I couldn't, and that so it dropped down to 32 minutes, and at 140 beats per minute. I want these long runs, as we've said, yeah, but it takes into account sleep, blah blah blah. And it's a more stressful time at work at the moment as well. It's Christmas build up. Working as a chef in Christmas time, it's busy, and so yeah, I did do the run, and I did it just a normal loop in Bergen Centrum, like Bergen City Centre. Like I said, the treadmill wasn't set up. And all that, that's another ideal run for the treadmill, just this short thing, and all that but no, it wasn't set up, so I wasn't going to get it set up either. So I kind of, or that day, or for the run. So I did the run in the Centrum, and then basically, caught the bus home as usual. But that run, 32 minutes, 44 seconds, average pace of 5:49 per kilometre. I covered 5.63 kilometres, and the average was 140 beats per minute. So bang on. That's it. Shows that I can manage it now. It's getting there. All these training sessions is to show progress, and yes, I might be getting slowly quicker as well, but to hit the nail on the head, like, or the actual kind of averages right, kind of, though it looks as if I'm getting quicker, if my heart rate's been too high on these runs, it kind of shows that I don't have it under control, and yes, I'm getting quicker, but my heart rate's getting quicker as well, so it's not showing a solid thing. So the more I can get these average heartbeats correct, then we can start really seeing the progress in the speed and that. So, but it's the progress, that we're doing. We're still in the building phase. Like I say, the actual major marathon training block starts in January, or beginning of January / last day of December. And that. So Thursday, I did the run, got home, and I thought, right, I've got a threshold on Friday, and that. So, and I was kind of looking forward to that. But I thought also it would be perfect to try that out on the treadmill. So Thursday night, after I got home, it starts getting a little bit late. I say late, about 8 o'clock-ish. By the time I've eaten some dinner and, 9 o'clock, and showered from the run, from being in town. And I start setting up the treadmill, and it gets to go midnight. So it was like, and Friday is early start for me at work. So I'm up just after 6:30 or 6:30, I'm up. And so basically, I didn't get enough sleep. I got the treadmill set up and it's nicely sitting in this corner, and you'll see that a bit later. But I kind of got to a point where I knew that it's getting late. I haven't gone to bed yet. I don't get enough sleep for tomorrow. I know the run's going to change. And I wake up Friday morning and go through all my bits and bobs, like on the daily morning report. It tells me what I'm going to be doing or how I slept, and and all that lot. And basically, it changed to active recovery, and that, and obviously not sleeping long enough, and that kind of put my body battery low anyway. So unfortunately, from that, I knew that busy day at work was going to smash that down. I mean, it's really going to lower anything. So literally, I did that. I came home. I had my kids this weekend, and that. So I was just, I mean, my watch was like, just try to relax, and that. So I did. You mean I didn't do anything. There was no active recovery at all. I just took the whole day off again. You mean hoping that Saturday and Sunday would kind of stick in. You mean so from the Friday that was supposed to be a threshold went into the active recovery. Then the Saturday was supposed to be a base run. But what happened is the run changed into a sprint, and you mean I've done the last couple of anaerobic sessions, and they've not really damaged my body battery / progress in the training plans. Where you mean some weeks before I do an anaerobic session, and it just throws my plan out the window. It just knocks me completely out because it's like kind of so intense apparently, and my body's like struggles with it after a bit. But basically Saturday was 8 times 10 seconds at 3:15 3 minute 15 kilometer pace. So I kind of did go on the pace calculators, and that is nearly about 19 kilometers per hour, I think, if I remember rightly. My treadmill, it goes up to 18 kilometers per hour. And I was looking at some that were 20 and 22 or whatever. Obviously, the price goes a lot higher. But it's not so many runs that I need to do at 3:15 or 3:10 pace. So, that was one reason why I got this one. Like I said, it was a great deal as well. And I know that, yes, there are some runs where the pace is supposed to be a little bit quicker than what my machine does. But it's one or two. And to be honest, I'll do a lot of the runs outside still. Or that is the plan. I just really kind of want the treadmill for, especially the icy, snowy runs that I know is coming. January, February, even into March. It's dangerous out there. I remember doing, for this year's marathons, I was running 30 kilometers in the snow, and it's fine if I'm plodding, and I can judge that and can't be calm on these runs. But these runs now, or this training block, I want to be hitting race pace in these runs, and that, where instead of just plodding along at kind of 6:15, 6:30 an hour, 6 minutes per kilometer, and I want to be hitting race pace. So I can't do that on the ice. So I wanted to get that, and my race pace is not going to be 3 minute 15 and that, or 18 kilometers an hour. That's not going to happen. So that's why I chose to do that. But then also trying to set up a sprint on the treadmill, it takes time for it to get up to speed. And then because Garmin, and I've said this before, you go straight from a low heart rate into a 10-second sprint. To get your treadmill up to speed, it takes time. And without getting your heart rate out of zone, and then you get penalised for going to, your heart rate's too high before you hit that zone. So before you hit the interval. So it took a bit of time. So it wasn't the most accurate workouts for me. And I think actually I got an execution score of 0 because it was saying that I wasn't quick enough and blah, blah, blah. But I did get the machine up to top speed. And I was sprinting for 10 seconds, but it was going into the next section of the bit. So it didn't register the right pace and all that lot. So, I wasn't so worried so much, but it was great to do that. I felt good in that workout. I certainly kind of, got a lot out of that. Still, it's it's hitting fast sprints on the machine. And it was my first run on the treadmill I haven't run on a treadmill for about a year and a half, 2 years. I haven't been to a gym for that time. So a lot of my runs have just always been outside. So I don't belong to a gym. So I don't have access to a treadmill, but now I do. And so it will do the runs that I need to cover, and especially if my kids are here as well, it's like I don't have to leave the house and they can kind of see me just doing watching a bit of what I do, kind of, and I hopefully inspire them a little bit. Who knows? So that was a treadmill run. It's 10 seconds just isn't long enough either to get up to speed. And that's why I normally, even when I'm doing the 10-second sprints outside, I don't hit the right target because I don't know it. And so that's what I'm hoping. Maybe I might do a little kind of run on the treadmill, get it up to 18 kilometers and see how it feels. And then I can try and take that out on the road. Obviously on the road is very different to running on a treadmill, but you can still kind of perceive some pace. So, or effort and that. So that's kind of what I might look into. And hopefully you use the treadmill to judge some more of these paces. I gotta kind of calibrate it more or whatever. It didn't seem quite right, and I'll go on to that shortly. But the average on Garmin for this interval session was 420 per kilometer. So I was pretty much 1 minute out. But I'm not gonna worry about that too much because it was the first time on a treadmill and getting used to all of that lot. But I know I put a solid effort in, so that's kind of all that really matters, in my opinion. So we hit Sunday morning. Again, for some reason I don't know what's happening. Sleep wise, I didn't even set an alarm. To be honest, I didn't set an alarm. I just kind of thought I'd flow up, we'll see how I sleep. And that I was in bed before midnight. Then kind of woke up, laid in bed a little bit, and then kind of went, I'll just check the time, see what's happening. It's 9:25. And that. So I'd had kind of well over 9.5 hours in bed. But my watch kind of detected 7:40 minutes, I think, sleeping. And it was poor. It was, useless, apparently. So as much as you hear a lot of people with their Garmin saying that their exercising is useless, mine seems to be okay, but my sleep is useless. And that. So it's, so it dropped me again. From over an hour or whatever. I haven't kept a record, I'm afraid, of what the run should have been today. I'm still thinking of ways to kind of get, that process looked at better and that. I even forget to take pictures of the actual, watch telling me what to do. It's all right when I'm sitting on the bus to work. I kind of do it every day. I show that on my Instagram. But so it dropped me an hour, so poor sleep again. This is where the frustration comes out again. And that, in my eyes, I'm kind of losing hours. Or not hours, I'm losing mileage because of this. I look at an hour and I go, okay, great, that's 10k. So if I'm hitting 1 hour, 30 minutes, I'm doing, we can do 13, 14 kilometers in that, because I need time on feet. But it should be quality time on feet. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to just plod out there and that and just not be quality and that. So the frustration is there. The weather's awful again. Absolute tipping it down with rain all day. And I did have some plans to go out with my kids this afternoon / evening, and that into Centrum. And that, but the weather's awful. So I did it on the treadmill again. I got a new toy, so I might as well use it. But yeah, I mean, just to see how they, I mean, like a plain run would be as well, because I tried the sprints on it now, and I wanted to see what a normal training run would be. So that 31 minutes actually registered on my Garmin as 31:16. I did 4.81 kilometers according to the treadmill at 6:30 kilometer pace. Is that right? I don't know, because if I look at previous runs of like this kind of base race or base run, I look quite a bit further. Maybe the heart rate was a bit higher. I don't know. I didn't really look into that, but it just felt that the treadmill's cutting me short. I don't know. I mean, it's still early doors, and I've got to fix it all up and take it. But what I didn't kind of see, or what I thought was a bit strange, is my pacing. I know later in the bit, because I'm doing it heart rate zone, my heart rate does go up a bit as you drift and that. So I kind of scaled the speed down on the last kind of 1 or 2 kilometers. But you would have expected the same time on the first 2, because the pace isn't changing. But my pace changed on my run, apparently in Garmin. And I'll show you the details there. Average pace of that, for the lap should be the same, because the treadmill goes the same speed if you don't change it. Well, I know that I changed it on the second 2, like as the third and the fourth, because I wanted to try and keep the heart rate down. So something to look into. And but don't get me wrong. I know that I do need to measure speed and length or distance and things like that. But to go out running, what I want to do, yeah, it's running. So it's another half an hour of running. Even if the treadmill doesn't give me exact, like I said, it was a great deal and I'm very happy for it. But it's not a machine you get at the gym and that. But it's very, very handy. And it has good speed. You see a lot of these treadmills, you can't get these high speeds on them because they're not proper. Great work. Great treadmill for me. And it will fix me for what I need to do, so I'm happy with that. But I think more on the treadmill, and as you know in these videos, I just talk about running and throw out my ideas, and I will try and do some more things, because I can always keep the heart rate. The heart rate won't change, so I can use the watch on the heart rate and the distance. The distance isn't so important. It's the time that I'm on my feet, the time that I'm doing, and the heart rate. If I can keep them right, when I take my runs outside, I can swap that, and I know that it's going to be a bit better. It's more kind of, but then the GPS might be miles out as well, yeah? It could be sending me on a wild goose chase over that way instead of being where I actually am. So we all have to take these bits into consideration, but I think anything like this will give me progress, and that's what I want to do. That's what I'm building up for. So time on feet, actually running with the right heart rate, is going to be beneficial down the road, and that's kind of what we're looking. So I don't want to be a fair weather runner, and I know I used the excuse today it rained. But a lot of you that actually know me as a runner knows that I go out in the rain, because one thing I've always said as well is you have to train in all the weathers, because you don't know what the weather's going to be when you do an event. And that, even quite recently there's been storms, storms in the UK, and there's been, race cancellations, but some races carried on. So you mean if you don't train in bad weather and you go out to kind of do this run, you're going to have an awful time because you are not used to kind of dealing with the climate. And same as like, you know what I mean, if you're going to do a run in the desert, yeah, there's no point in doing all your training in a cold air, cold environment, because as soon as you hit a hot environment, you're going to get wiped out. So they're two extremes, don't get me wrong, but I'm just trying to implement like what I mean. You should always try to run or train in environments that can, you come across later on. You mean? So I will run into the snow, but they won't be race pace and that. So that's what the treadmill's for, and things like that. So like I say, the treadmill is there to kind of benefit me, not to kind of be more lazy and that, or change me in that way. It's not going to make me lazy, is it? Because it's a treadmill. It will make me run, otherwise I'll fall off. So that is the main point of that treadmill. And to be honest, I got a great clip of my kids. You mean, like, they've seen me like, for 2 days running on the treadmill, doing the sprints and all this lot. And yeah, I'll just let you watch this clip now. So as much as it's kind of important for me to do it, if my kids get a bit of fun as well, and inspire, like I said, inspire them a little bit, then perfect. That's kind of what I'm looking for. So yeah, bit of fun. You mean training should be fun, and so let's incorporate that. But I do feel I kind of lost mileage this week with the changing and of so much of the runs, and you mean, but like I said, it takes into account the body, battery, your sleep, and all this lot. It is a hectic time at work, hectic period in life. I mean, Christmas is just around the corner now. Am I ready? No. So I'm going to have to kind of squeeze that in a little bit more as well, and fix all of that lot. So we just try to keep going as best as we can, take into account the changes from Garmin, and hopefully it will really, it still help me produce the goods. It knows what I need. It knows what I need to get to where I want to be. So that's what we're aiming for, and I've just got to trust the process. Marathon training is a process that we need to just flow. It's frustrating. This is frustrating to me, and I think I will actually have a backup plan. And I'll have a backup plan that I will follow how that progresses alongside. But I will actually do my Garmin one, but I will have a backup plan at the side and keep a tab on that to see how that is progressing as well. And it'll be one that I've used before, so I know, marathon training blocks anyway. And then just follow the Garmin. And if I need to bail out of Garmin, we'll have to see. But always have a backup plan. Marathons aren't straightforward, so you always need a backup plan anyway. There's always goal A, goal B, goal C, goal D, finish. So, we have that all in place as we go along. So, I just want to kind of put it out there and just let you know, It's like, this is an experiment, but it's also an ambition of mine to hit a goal. So I need to make sure that I'm the best possible condition to hit this goal. And like I say, if the training plan isn't quite right, because no other training plan I've followed takes into account of your sleep, your heart rate throughout the night or throughout the day, like a body battery that it has. No, nothing's ever done that for me. When my last training plan said you need to go out and run that, I did it. No questions asked, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Is what training marathon training is. You do what you have to do. So for it to keep changing, it's very different for me and something quite new. So we'll see. But I want to make sure that I have a backup plan to hit my goal. And it's a painful goal. You know what I mean? So yeah. But I just wanted to kind of say that now. I've been thinking about it for a while, but I will follow another plan. But I won't be doing the routines, but it will be showing me my mileage that I should be hitting and some of the runs that I should be doing. And I can cross-reference. That's what I want to do. Cross-reference how Garmin is sending me and then to what this other app will do. And to be honest, it'll be running with Hal Higdon. I've used his training plans or the training app many a time for the marathons. But I will use that app as a cross-reference and that. So, as we finish off the week now, it was 34.9 kilometers in total. Like I said, I probably lost a good 15k this week in changes from the watch. On a positive note, it's got one gorgeous looking tempo run tomorrow. If it sticks, I'd say tempo / threshold, I guess. You mean it's going to be a threshold. It's double figures minutes at 166 beats per minute times 2. So if that holds, that's got great potential, and I'm really looking forward to that. So that's a positive start, and I'm hoping that sticks because then I got the Tuesday rest anyway. So we had to just see how, changing the routines on one day knocks on the next, and that sometimes it just delays it by one or whatever, but next time it can really throw it up. But that's where we are. And that, so a bit of a frustrated week in that sense, but there's the positives to look forward to. Really gonna hit this session tomorrow, hopefully. But we'll leave it there. So once again, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment. What can make this better? I got a few little ideas, and we're gonna see about tweaking them in. And that, but thank you so much to Seeability again for giving me the charity place, and again, please, give a little Christmas present to them in the link below. Just please donate to the charity and all that. Lot of Christmas just around the corner, so yeah, let's give them something. And that, and we're basically there. If you want to follow me daily on Instagram, it's again Neil _ a dad that runs, and then we'll just kind of leave it there. So enjoy your week, and I'll keep you updated. Cheers, bye.